And they will face a youngster in the circle, the left-handed freshman out of Glendale, Arizona. It's Caitlin Terry, just one loss all year long. She's won her last 9 starts, and she induces the pop-up right away from Kristen White, 1 down.
Terry, a great all-around athlete, and in the circle, she can just get it done with that rise ball that she throws very effectively. Of course, that lefty spin on that curveball, but it's the changeup that has been a difference maker. She's got a 32% whiff rate on that changeup. It is knee buckling, and when she uses that, she's extremely effective.
In the 2 spot, Larissa Pruitt. It's the start out in right field. Last week in the Tennessee series, they saw a lot of pitches down in the zone, a lot of off-speed. Not necessarily the diet they will be taking in from Terry today. Out in front, 0-2. Pruitt way in tight to the plate, got both feet on the chalk. Alabama winners of the 2012 National Championship. That was the first recorded for an SEC school. They've played in the finals twice. Right back up the middle. And Brady, no chance to make the play, and a runner aboard for the Tide.
This is a lefty-lefty matchup that KT tries to go to that outer half, leaves that pitch over the plate a little bit too much, and Pruitt's able to hit that right back up the middle. It's just a curveball that doesn't leave the zone, stays around it. Pruitt punishes it.
Well, both Patrick Murphy and the athletic trainer out to check on Pruitt down at first base. She will stay aboard as Kenley Cahalan gets ready to step in. Kenley, the sophomore from Trussville, Alabama, hitting .400 in the NCAA tournament. And now Patrick Murphy, is he going to change his mind and get a pinch runner on? And it will be Lauren Johnson, the younger sister of the starting left fielder, Jenna Johnson, will come on to run. Catching the outside corner for a strike. Chad Steers is behind the plate today. Tracy Laycock at first, Jim Bertuzzi at second, Cameron Ellison at third, Steve Gould handling the replays today. Another one across the outside corner, 0-2. Cahalan, a former high school player of the year in the state of Alabama, enrolled early at the age of 17 so she could get her Alabama career started. 15 times to the World Series, this perhaps the most unlikely. This is a team that finished in 9th place in the SEC and are now amongst the final 8 teams standing. Through the losses, they never wavered, guys, in their belief they could get here.
Well, and getting into the postseason, that whole nothing to lose philosophy. I mean, we talked about pressure with so many of the other teams, but look at the fewest wins by an SEC team. They're right there, but that's been part of their magic.
Swing and a miss. Cahalan strikes out, 2 down.
Well, part of it, too, is they have that strong pitching staff. They may not put a lot of runs up on the board, but as long as you're able to limit your opponent's damage, you have an opportunity, and KT landing damage right there. Nice curveball in the outer half. You just see the way that ball's going to dive down and away.
Fly ball out to center field. Janelle Mionio is there. A base hit, stranded. UCLA picking up the bats when we come back. Coming up in the bottom of the first, our starting lineup brought to you by Capital One. It starts with power right at the top. Maya Brady and Charlize Palacios. this Bruin lineup, the best batting average, the highest scoring team in the postseason. And thanks to those two, 9 home runs through their first 5 games of the tournament as they swept through the regionals and the supers. And you see the deep breath there from Charlize Palacios, who missed out on the NCAA tournament a year ago with an injury. That has been fuel for this UCLA squad all year long to get back here to the World Series in the final season of the Pac-12, the once dominant conference in college softball. And they will face Kayla Beaver, the senior transfer from Jackson, Tennessee. Always dreamed about wearing that Alabama jersey ever since she was 8 years old, going to games with her dad, and now she gets a chance to wear the crimson at the World Series. Brady steps in, carrying a 7-game hitting streak. Senior out of Thousand Oaks, California, already in the UCLA record books as one of their greatest hitters ever, which is saying something in Westwood. Will finish second in career home runs and runs batted in to the great Stacy Newman in both of those categories.
If you're compared to Stacy Newman, you're doing something right.
Yeah, and you just look at the list, all the lists at UCLA, you're going to see Olympians, you're going to see some of the greatest of all time, especially here in Oklahoma City. The biggest thing with Maya Brady is not so much the power. I know we like to talk home runs, but she can hit anything. There isn't a pitch that she can't. I mean, you look through, you know, rise, screw, drop, change up. She's got great numbers against all, so it's very hard to scout. You got to really mix it up and just try to get her to chase.
I think even mishits or wins with her.
Yeah. Oh, takes a look at a ball from Kayla Beaver. Maya from an athletic family. Her mother Maureen, a terrific softball player back in her day. And now Maya back-to-back honors as Pac-12 Player of the Year. And she scampers down to first base on strike 3.
That's a drop ball that explodes down into the ground, and she does get Brady to chase that pitch down, goes off of the gear. Did you see that ball? A lot of late movement fools Brady, but it gets past, so she gets to scooch on down to first base. Drop third strike.
Going to be fun strategically with Kayla Beaver, who throws a lot of curveballs, throws it down in the zone. But a UCLA team that hits the curveball pretty well, not so much the rise or the changeup.
Yeah, that rise ball is where they're weakest.
Right back to Beaver, spins, fires to second, a little offline, and that'll take away the double play, but Callie Hevlin was able to keep her foot on the bag, one down.
Kayla Beaver, great athlete in the circle, can do a lot of different things with the ball, and she does to work the outer half with that screwball, but she'll throw the inside as well. The rise ball, she says it the best, though. I love to challenge hitters on the inner half, and it doesn't matter if it's the rise ball, screwball, or drop ball. She uses them all effectively. A very good chase and whiff rate. A lot of power up near 70 miles an hour.
Grad student out of Jackson, Tennessee. Now facing Charlize Palacios, the senior from Chula Vista in Southern California. Maybe the hottest hitter in the tournament. And I think I'll drop the maybe. 500. Wow. With 5 home runs and 13 runs batted in. We got some great star power all through the day today. Oh, skips away from Marley Giles, who's back in the starting lineup behind the plate for just the 3rd game now, returning from a broken arm middle of the season. And a runner in scoring position here for the Bruins.
Yeah, and that's a ball that needs to be caught by Giles, especially when there's a runner on base.
Palacios, deep left field, back it goes, down the line, and foul.
Wow. She got that in on the hands. I mean, just the power, a lot of the home runs she's hit, and I know we talked about this in the open, but 5 of her last 7 hits have been home runs. But a lot of them have been opposite field, and did a good job on that one, barely staying foul.
Look at that, 11 total in her last 18 games. Started her career at Arizona, ending it with UCLA. Beaver got her. How about the start for Kayla Beaver? Strikeouts of both Brady and Palacios. 2 down.
Beaver just has a lot of energy, a lot of velocity, and she's throwing these pitches up over 70 miles an hour, and that's a curveball in the outer half. It's got a little up, it's got a little out, so it's moving on dual planes, which is part of the reason she gets that strikeout.
Now batting right field, number 43, Megan Grant.
Here's Megan Grant. Left-handed sophomore from San Bruno, California, all Pac-12 season this year. Infield pop-up. Laura Esmond calling for it, and she'll get there. One stranded, side retired, scoreless opening day at the World Series.
Brady's. Her mom, Maureen, was the first to garner headlines when she was a star pitcher in California in high school. The first Brady of that athletic family to ever get their name in the newspaper. Of course, Uncle Tom's done okay for himself, but Mom Maureen was a great player in the Women's College World Series for Fresno State 2 different times. Maya comes from great athletic stock, and so it really means something when her Uncle Tom says she is by far the most dominant athlete in the family. Maya is showing that domination this year, and she said the way she's carrying the team right now, learning to relax and be loose at the plate, that relaxation is helping her hit the best numbers of her career.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story. Of course, Maya, who better to lean on than folks in her own family when it comes to accepting the responsibility for being the face of a team, and how Kelly Inouye Perez, her head coach, has worked with her over the years to embrace the fact that you know you're the one, and everyone looks to you to lead. It's her time, it's her team, and now they are here together, UCLA, all in this moment with that great leadership from Maya.
And how much her teammates have looked to her. That's what we heard yesterday, meeting with so many of them, being here for the first time, but also understanding failure. I mean, there's been definitely times, peaks and valleys throughout Maya's career, and now as a senior leader, she's helping everyone around her.
5, 6, and 7 coming up for Alabama. The most stunning of which was last year in the NCAA tournament when UCLA was a 2 seed and they were bounced in the regional at home 2 in barbecue. And how that has fueled their return to get back to where they live. I mean, crazy numbers for the Bruins with the 12 national championships. This is the 32nd World Series in 42 years.
That number right there is just astonishing. And also to think of how they started this year. So last year they did not finish well, and this year they did not start well.
Worst since 1986. That was before Kelly's time.
Yeah.
She and assistant coach Lisa Fernandez both had a hand in the UCLA three-peat in the late 80s, early 90s. And a lot of it's had to do with their young pitching staff growing up a lot after the graduation of their ace, Megan Faremo, last year.
Terry Tinsley last year only had about 26 innings, so they really just had no experience in the circle. And Caitlin was injured earlier this year, and so had some things they had to work around, work through, and have been able to do that, and have just since been outstanding. And you can see why KT is just so dominating in the circle. She can move the ball in all directions. That's a screwball in the outer half. So not only does she have that curveball she'll throw inside to you, but then she'll use that screwball to make that ball run away from the righties into the lefties.
Here is Riley Valentine, who has emerged as the best bat in their lineup, the sophomore out of Phoenix. transferred in from Texas A&M last year. Had the big grand slam to help beat Tennessee last weekend.
Well, she's had 2 huge monster home runs in the postseason. And you go back to regionals and then the grand slam to top of the first inning, game 3 against Tennessee. They went into a rain delay, but the game was over with that hit. Riley Valentine, who has not been a home run hitter, but huge at bats when it matters the most.
Well, coaches talk about timely hits, right? I mean, it's crazy when you look at the numbers. Alabama hit less than 200 in the Super Regional, but they got the timely hits, just like they did in the Regional, just like they're hoping to get here. They have the worst batting average of the 8 teams here, but, you know, when Murph is working his magic, none of that matters.
Just 252 team batting average on the year, and then even lower than that in Super Regionals. Part of that also because they were facing Tennessee, 2 of the best pitchers in the country.
Patrick Murphy now in his 27th season in Tuscaloosa. Valentine lifts that out to left. Jalen Alchin has it. 2 down.
Well, right now, Terry's using that pitch on the outer half to the righties. It's got a little up, it's got a little out, and that's how she can blend those pitches together. But most importantly is the effectiveness of being able to throw that pitch for a strike. Look at that, 17 of her 22 pitches for strikes right now.
Daughter of a softball player, her mom, Christy, played at Florida State. Says mom was one of her inspirations growing up.
She even kind of challenged her, like, okay, Mom, everyone says you were great. Let's proof's in the pudding. Let's watch some film. And then she said she broke down the film, was like, oh, wow, Mom's good.
And how convenient mom was a catcher.
That's right.
So.
Yeah. Gotta love that.
1995 ACC Player of the Year, as a matter of fact, for the Noles.
Love it, too. The fact that Mom's the one putting the gear on and catching. You love the father-daughter relationships. We've been around so long, you get the mom and the mom and the daughter.
Base knock for Bailey Dowling with 2 outs. And second inning in a row now, Bama has a runner aboard. Bailey now 4 of 8 this postseason with 2 outs. And here comes Lauren Essman, grad student out of Kalamazoo, Michigan, now in her 5th year after transferring from Ann Arbor. Well, they've tried several different hands over at first base, and she emerged last weekend and now gets the start here today. Coming back from a pectoral injury she suffered in April. There's the rally worm. Alabama has picked up along the way. Fly ball out to center. Meonio's got it. Side is retired. Another stranded, scoreless to the bottom of the 2nd.
Alabama in the 2nd, no runs, 1 hit.
Next February 13th to the 16th, won't you join us for one of the best early season tournaments in all the land? Look at that lineup, including Alabama, who we're watching right now, and nice intrigue. You see Auburn and Ohio State on that list, both with head coaching openings this offseason, along with Notre Dame. Going to be very interesting to see who brings them to Clearwater. There's also UCLA on the list, so the Bruins will be there as well.
It's fun when you get the World Series matchups to kick off the season.
Love it. It's February. Softball.
Beach. Yeah. Sold.
Jordan Woolery, the sophomore from Walnut Creek, to start things out here. Bottom two, 5, 6, and 7 due up. It's opening day at the Women's College World Series. Slow rower to short. Cahalan charges, 1 down. We start out with double elimination format, and when we get down to the last 2 teams, they'll slug it out in the championship series. Best 2 out of 3, which will start next Wednesday.
UCLA, number 5,
But again, if you lose today, you're in big trouble. You only have a 6% chance of reaching the finals. Trying to work all the way back out of the loser's bracket. Quick work for Kayla Beaver, 2 down as she gets Pola. It's happened a couple times recently, but through the course of 41 years, only 4 teams have won the national championship after losing on opening day. Winner gets the day off tomorrow, plays Saturday. Loser has to come right back tomorrow night and play an elimination game against the loser of Duke, Oklahoma. That's our second game coming up next on this side of the bracket. Seneca Kura. Across the inside corner. Senior from Verona, California. In her 5th year with UCLA. Right back to Beaver, the one-hopper, 1, 2, 3, second inning for Bama. Welcome back to the Women's College World Series, presented by Capital One. Beautiful look coming into Devon Park, and there is a look at our bracket. We are the first of 4 games coming your way. Oklahoma and Duke on deck. And then tonight, for the first time, Texas, a number 1 seed in the field. They take on Player of the Year, Nyjeri Kennedy and Stanford. And then the 4-5 matchup this evening, Florida and Oklahoma State. Gators feature Skylar Wallace, who's hitting over 700 in the postseason. The Pokes have Lexi Kilfoyle, who is 6-0 during the regular season against the rest of this World Series field. Good ones coming your way tonight.
Really good one.
Don't miss a Reese Atwood at bat either while we're talking about it.
That's right.
Here's Callie Hevlin.
Reese was up for USA Softball Player of the Year.
9, and then the top of the order to face Terry, who had a strikeout in the first, another one in the second. Bama has also singled in each of the first 2 innings. Boy, you think about Caitlin Terry and Taylor Tinsley, it takes me back to, oh my goodness, 20 years or so. Amanda Freed and Courtney Dale.
Ooh,
that duo.
Yes.
99 champs, I believe.
Yep. Youngsters.
Yeah.
Yep.
Of course, Jelly Selden was playing in
Freshman.
the finals in 2005 as a freshman. Good young arms. Shallow right center. Megan Grant has it. 1 down. Hey, don't forget about the NHL Eastern Conference playoffs going on tonight on ESPN and ESPN Plus. It's Game 5 from the East. Panthers at the Rangers at MSG. Coverage begins with The Point at 6 o'clock on ESPN2. That series tied at 2-2. Back to the top of the order, and Kristen White popped up her first time, so 5 of the 7 outs recorded have been airborne so far. Kristen had the game-winning hit to clinch that 14-inning affair. One of 3 extra inning games already in this postseason for Alabama. A 14-inning loss to LSU, a 14-inning win against Tennessee.
White has come on strong really just the last month. I mean, she was someone down in the bottom of the order, moved up to the top of the lineup. She started to really be able to understand her strengths, be able to kind of read the defense. She uses that short game.
Well, I think that's Alabama softball, right? It's the chaos that their speed can create.
Since she moved to the leadoff in that Ole Miss series, and then over the course of the last 5 games, that's the Alabama offense.
Well, Pat Murphy's been able to go more classic offense. He's got the 2 speedster slappers at the top. You know, they had Cahalan up at the top, who's a little more power, or she's going to be kind of more of their power hitter, sliding down in that 3-hole where really she belongs.
Yeah, she needs to be up when people are on base,
Yes.
so get the speedsters on. Then hit them in.
Ground ball to Perot. 2 down. Murph's been having a lot of fun with the media the last couple of days. Bet you guys didn't expect to see us here, did you? He's calling it the redemption tour for Alabama. Here as a 14 seed, they will be trying to become the lowest seeded team to ever win the championship. Relishing a bit of that underdog role after their first losing season ever in SEC play. You heard one of the Bruins yelling, let it go, and they do.
Great read.
Really
That's
good
a
read.
base hit all the way. Actually, beautiful bunt by Pruitt. Anytime you're a lefty trying to take it down to the first base line with a left-handed pitcher, just makes it so difficult for anyone to get to this. So they pull up and say, look, there are only shots for this thing to go foul, and it does. How many of those, by the way, have we seen just ride the line and stay?
Terry with that nice rise ball at the top of the zone. She'll throw it at multiple levels. So far, she's really done a great job of putting it on the edges. Just painting that outer half to the righties.
Well, you do make a good point, Jess, because, you know, a lot of places now they're using paint for the lines, spray paint. This is old school chalk, which sometimes, you know, get some little bumps in it on those bunts.
Just need to hit one of those and keep it fair.
Lauren Johnson, who came on as the pinch runner in the first, stays on here to hit. What a moment for her and her sister playing together in the World Series. With the age difference, they've hardly had a chance to play on the same team before growing up. What do you got for us, Holly?
Well, you're seeing her get these hits right now. Lauren Johnson was in the dugout during that 14-inning game, and she kept telling her sister the whole game, I can hit her, I can hit her. And so in the 13th inning, Patrick Murphy came back into the dugout and said, does anybody feel good right now? Literally anybody. Well, she was the first person to raise her hand, Lauren Johnson, the young player that only gets in as a pinch runner. And so she's getting these at-bats because of that verve.
Hey, and there you go, right on cue for Lauren. The base hit the opposite way. Oh, by the way, she got on base as Holly referenced and came around to score the game-winning run that day in the Supers.
As a freshman, too, you guys, for her to be able to have this ability, 2 strikes, look at her just go 60% swing. Look, I'm just going to try to choke up, poke the ball into right field, and I just love that she said, pick me. In that 13th inning, as a freshman, she was the only one, by the way, that raised her hand and said, put me in to hit.
Well, coaches want to know that. They want to know who's feeling good and who believes in themselves.
Cahalan chopped to short. Brady is there. So a hit in each inning for Alabama, but unable to bring them closer to home. Still scoreless.
Wow, the white softball with only the 25 home runs to 433 ERA too. Wow.
A little different back then.
White
They were
ball.
winning by pitching,
It's
that's
like
for sure.
hitting with a newspaper.
The reason UCLA had that run, Lisa Fernandez, part of that. Those teams dominant in the circle, and now part of this coaching staff for the UCLA Bruins. 26th season. Wow.
She and Kelly have been there for a long time with Kirk Walker. You know, they added Rob Schreier to work with the pitchers this year. Kelly was a part of 3 national championships at UCLA as a player, 3 as an assistant, and now 2 more as a head coach. For Kelly I, her 25th World Series inside the Bruin bubble.
You tried to get her, bait her a little bit of like, okay, is there a part of you as a player, as a coach, being a part of so many of those World Series and that three-peat that could happen with Oklahoma? And she's like, we're just worried about ourselves. We're not thinking about it.
Earlier in the year, they mentioned it, and then they struggled to start, and I think the focus has been on one day at a time since. How the roller down to first base, Esmond has it. However, one look at the bracket, and it tells you that it's possible that UCLA and Oklahoma play Saturday afternoon on ABC if they're both winners here, or tomorrow night if they're both losers today.
Can't write it up any better.
Every matchup.
Want to be the best, you got to beat the best. Ooh, there's Nelly Mionio in the 9 spot.
Curveball that gets away from Beaver and just gets Mionio right on the leg.
Well, and how big this is, because Maya Brady, anytime she comes up to bat, you want a base runner on. And for Mionio, just missed the kneecap.
Yeah, free pass for the number 9 hitter with Brady coming up. Be a good time to just mention briefly, because I know a lot of Arizona folks are watching the World Series well, and our old buddy Mike Candrea. They had a chance to win 5 in a row back in the 90s. But UCLA beat them in 1995, and then it was determined they had violated NCAA rules, so they had to vacate that championship. But that was the other dynasty that Arizona had in the 90s. As Brady steps in with a runner out. Struck out in the first, then was able to reach on a wild pitch on strike 3. A run-producing machine, and they put her at the top of the lineup so she gets as many at-bats as possible. Ripped through the right side, and a base hit for Brady. Mionio had to hold so it wouldn't hit her, and first and second for UCLA with 1 down.
So 100% of the time that Maya Brady sees a ball in the strike zone, 100% she hits it hard. 100%. That is why teams try to get her to chase, to try to hit it off the end of the bat, because if it is anywhere over the white part of the plate, I know this is just a base hit, that is a hard base hit over 80 miles an hour.
Good response after the strikeout in the first. You know, a lot of people were looking back at what Alabama was able to do to Kiki Malloy last week. They held her to a 200 batting average. See how Maya fares the rest of the day. Jalen Alchin reached on a fielder's choice. Already in this NCAA tournament, a pair of 3-hit games. Same exact spot, another base hit. Mionio being waved around. It's mishandled by Johnson. And UCLA takes the lead.
And this is interesting because Alabama was well up the line. Esmond, you can see at first base. Look at the way that she's in front of the bag. Corners are pulled in, and because of that situation, easily able to get that through that 3-4 hole. A little bit of a bobble out in right field, and that's going to put UCLA up on the board. If Esmond had been back a little bit more, opportunity to potentially keep that ball on the infield, but a great base hit by Alchin.
To Beavers, so dominant first time through the order, and now they're just trying to get to contact. 2 hits in a row.
Hey, the Women's College World Series Finals get underway next Wednesday. The championship series becomes best 2 out of 3, and it'll be Wednesday, Thursday, possibly Friday night. All of those at 8 Eastern on ESPN. For more information, go to NCAA.com. Your home for all 90 NCAA championships. So scored a single and then an E9. Remember, it's a new right fielder, Lauren Johnson, who replaced the starter out there, Larissa Pruitt. And runners at first and third, still with just the one out and a 1-0 lead.
Well, Beaver always talks about the fact that she likes to challenge hitters on the inner half. Both those lefties and Brady and Alchin trying to beat them on the inner half, and they're just able to barrel it up, Jess, like you said. They're just simply getting that barrel to contact.
Right back to Beaver, fires to Cahalan over to first, double play, Alabama. Limits the damage.
Caleb Beaver, we talk about her ability to strike out hitter.
I don't know if I would use the words, I don't know, but I think bottom line is she's battling. You know, she's played the game for a long time. I love, if you would have seen her before the game, she's just ready to play softball, but we got to settle in. There's a couple pitches that I think she could take back, but that's one of the things that she does well. She gets stronger through a game.
Caleb Beaver, the pitcher for Alabama, loves to go on that inside corner of the plate, but it seems like your hitters are attacking that pitch well. How are they able to adjust?
I mean, what they're saying is we're just not swinging at strikes, you know. So we're a little excited. We're ready to play. There's some nerves. So the goal is we got to try to settle in. We try to get barrel behind the ball, but I think a big part of that is we got to do a better job of swinging at strikes.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
UCLA with the 1-0 lead. Jadlyn Alchin, the RBI single, scoring Nellie Mionio, who had reached after getting hit by a pitch, as Caitlin Terry gets set to go to work. 3 hits allowed over the first 3 innings. No damage done on the scoreboard. 4, 5, and 6 coming up for the Tide. It's Jenna Johnson, a fly out to center field, her first time up. Speed in for a strike at 54 miles per hour. In this final season of the Pac-12, UCLA fittingly able to sweep both the regular season and the tournament championships. Johnson out to Alchin and left. 1 down. Kelly Inouye Perez called it leveling up after that really disappointing start that included a 16-0 loss to Texas at home, the worst in UCLA history. Back-to-back run rule losses at home. And then they really started to turn a corner. The pitching got better. The defense really got better the last couple of months of the season. And a lot of the Bruins look to that 3-game sweep of Stanford as really the stamp of approval. Okay, we got something cooking now. Let's roll into the postseason.
And the resiliency of this team as well. Their comeback wins, which is a big part. They didn't just fold during the year when things got hard. Arizona game down by 7 runs, scored 11 unanswered to come back and win that. So all those pieces of the pie.
Yeah, that was kind of Caitlin Terry's turning point, not just the teams, but
yeah. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, they've got some reasons they're leveling up this year, and one is their sports performance coach, Dr. Armando Gonzalez. He has done wonders with this team, and everybody we've talked to said they would not be here without him. He is talking to each player individually before the game, doing check-ins, giving them tools to get out of their heads and to perform at their best. He's known for working with athletes like Mookie Betts, the NFL teams, the Tennessee Titans, Dansby Swanson. And I watched him before the game go up to different individual athletes and just check in with them so they could get in their best frame of mind.
Thank you, Holly, as Giles draws the walk. So another base runner here for Alabama. But that's something we're seeing just about every program in the country now, that mental performance coach or a new approach to try and help student athletes today.
I like it on the daily basis because you're seeing every program have that access, have that ability where you can go, but they're not in the dugout. They're not always around. And I think, you know, when you're talking this time of year and throughout the season, for him to recognize and be able to go up to each player, like Holly was saying, is huge.
Riley Valentine thought about the bunt to advance the runner, and what guys is shaping up to be one of those old school one-run affairs.
You mean a pitcher stool?
Yes,
okay.
I will go there with you.
Okay,
since
perfect.
you're one of the best.
Mendoza's.
I'm Beth Mullins along with Michelle Smith, who was a pitcher who could rake.
That's right.
Yes.
To swing it.
Jessica Mendoza, who
Could rake.
never met a rise ball she didn't like. Olympic gold medalists both. And, of course, the Hall of Famer Holly Rowe. Swing and a miss, and the throwdown, and the tag applied by Brady. And they cut down Giles at second.
I think that looked like that was potentially a hit and run because Valentine's going after a pitch. You can see she tries to check it. Giles going down. Palacios, one of the best in the business at a pop time, so glove to glove. And then, ooh, the tag. Seeing a little bit to the face.
Yeah, the hand might have snuck in there.
Yeah.
Coaches do have 2 challenges, but they have to get in there within 30 seconds and before the next pitch.
Ooh, I think she'd have been safe.
She is safe.
That was a great slide to the back of the bag, getting away from that tag.
That is a missed opportunity for Alabama.
Well, that's on Giles to communicate that, to say, hey, you know, like we see all the runners now go to the sign with the hands to the ears. We need to check that. There's only 2 people on the field that know if she was out or safe. It was Maya Brady. And
I wonder if maybe getting tagged in the face, though, kind of disrupted her awareness.
Palacios catching 44% of the would-be base stealers this year.
Two strikes.
2-2 pitch to Valentine.
Giles was only her second attempt, stolen base attempt all year, so more than likely a hit and run that just wasn't a very good pitch for Valentine to go after. But again, I think you're exactly right, Jess. That intuition of knowing, hey, I think this is close. Probably should take a look at it, especially midway point in the game.
yeah, you got 2 challenges.
I think they're having a problem here with the digital signaling device. Or is it just the old-fashioned card now that they're going to turn to? New this year around softball, the dugout can signal in, whether it's in your ear, whether it's on a watch, the pitch call, as well as placing their defense. You can't talk to your hitters, but you can talk to your pitchers and your defenders. Valentine out in front of the change. Walk doesn't hurt. 1-0 UCLA.
It looked like she got looked at by the athletic trainer. What's going on there?
She had a little bit of a hamstring issue before the game, and when she got the hit, she sprint, 10 feet, and it kind of pulled a little bit, and it's just not worth, trying to go for the game. So Lauren Johnson got a hit after that, so in that spot, there's 2 for 2.
All right, sounds good. All right, Kayla Beaver, she's wanted to pitch for Alabama for her whole life. Here she is starting at the World Series. What do you see from her so far?
Well, really the only mistake I thought was hitting the 9th spot in the last inning, with 1 out, and then one of the best players in the country up to bat next. So other than that, her velocity is great. I thought she was hitting her spots really well, and I think she's really competing out there.
Sounds great. Thank
Great
you,
to see
Coach.
you, Holly. Thanks a lot.
You too.
Thank you, Holly. And Patrick Murphy. Alabama trailing at UCLA 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the 4th, and Kayla Beaver is right back out there. Transferred in from Central Arkansas. Has battled through that tough SEC conference. Also a thumb injury to her glove hand later in the season. But for Kayla Beaver, she was telling us it's first and foremost about Alabama, and number 2, it's about the post-game ice cream.
That goes back to your childhood.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yes, that's right.
Had many a banana splits after that.
She says still to this day, as she gets the out. Holly's got more. Is this on the ice cream?
It will be, but first it's going to be on her lifelong dream of playing for the Crimson Tide. She grew up going to games games with her dad. She lived about 3 hours away in Tennessee, would go to games and softball games, and here she is getting her picture with Jackie Traina, one of the legends who's pitched in that circle where she's standing. So think about this. All these years later, she is standing pitching right where Jackie Traina did. It just gives me chills. And I'll follow up on the ice cream now. She started out in other sports, but her mom found a coupon for free pitching lessons, 30-minute pitching lessons, and she did not want to go. She hated it. She cried in the car, fussed and fussed. But the coach said, if you'll give me 30 minutes, I'll give you ice cream after. She loved the pitching. She loved the ice cream. The rest is history.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
I love it.
I don't want to go.
There's probably a good chance that there's a great mini pitcher out there that it might not have been their idea to pitch, and someone else persuaded them.
Also a great idea to have your youngsters play a lot of different sports when they're little to see what grabs their attention.
100%.
I'll tell you what, Kayla Beaver, and I know she told us this yesterday, but her ability to get inside to both lefties and righties, that was a beautiful pitch to Jordan Woolery. So hard to find that strike. It makes hitters just pause and buckle.
1-2 pitch to Jordan Woolery, misses high. Jordan grounded to short her first time up. Another one of those bats that can take you deep at a moment's notice. Homered against Georgia in their super regional sweep. And a strikeout for Beaver. That's her third, 2 down.
And that's her curveball. One of her best pitches when it comes to the chase. About 30% of the time she'll get hitters to chase that pitch out of the zone, and that's exactly what she does there with Woolery.
That'll bring up Savvy Pola. Beaver trying for her second 1-2-3 inning of the ball game. Set them down in order in the second. Little corner paint, 0-2. One-two pitch from Kayla. To third. Bailey Dowling has it. And there it is, another 1-2-3 inning for the Tide. We've completed 4 of the first game of this Women's College World Series.
Caitlin Terry has really been using all of her pitches to give Alabama a hard time. You can see the way she throws that drop ball in the outer half to the lefties, but look at this movement. This is a screwball in the outer half, so it's running away from the righties. That's how she expands the zone, and just when you think you can be on time, oh no, it's the changeup, it's a knee buckler. A lot of great late movement, a lot of energy. I just love the way that she's reacting in her first opportunity to throw here in Oklahoma City. Look at the flyouts, 6 of them, a couple ground outs, and those 3 strikeouts.
And her ability, and we talked about with her about that Arizona series and how much it mattered to know that her team had her back, and from then on she pitched with conviction, she pitched with confidence. It really grew her up from being a freshman,
and she didn't feel like she had to do everything herself, right? She was more confident in using that defense behind her, so just focusing on the pitches, let the pitch do the work, let the defense do the work once the ball's put in play.
Kelly I did a good job of calling timeout and asking the entire team who's got her back, and called in the outfield, and they're all like, Maya's everyone, we've got your back, we have you.
And trust me, for a young pitcher, that is so important, because then you don't feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, like you have to make every hitter swing and miss. No, you don't. You just have to slightly miss barrels, right? Miss hits become outs. 1- and 2 pitch outs. I say it all the time. They're a gift from the softball gods. And that's how you keep your pitch count where it's at. And all of a sudden, as a freshman, you're showing up here at the Women's College World Series with 21 wins on your record.
21-1 on the season. You come to places like Alabama and UCLA and the other programs here because you want to compete against the best. You want these kinds of moments, these kinds of games. But you guys have both played on this stage. I mean, it's a little different when you actually, the dream comes true and you show up here and you got to perform.
Yeah. Especially to do it when you feel like, I mean, she has become this team's ace, and Taylor Tinsley has done an amazing job as well. But knowing that you have that as a freshman, you're the go-to.
Good fight right now with Bailey Dowling, and Bailey's going to win it. Off of Terry's glove. And she's on board for the second time today, and that tying run now on the base paths for Bama.
This is a nice job. Bailey Dowling, you'll see kind of that downswing. It's what she does a really good job, why she matches well against Terry. Not fooled at all by anything up in the zone, just needs to meet it. Hard hit ball to get on base.
Yeah, and that's a 2-strike hit. Probably a little bit too close to the zone. It's probably why the coach Kelly Inouye Perez is going out to have a little talk.
What you got for us, Holly?
Looks like we're going to have a pitching change here. And you talked about Caitlin Terry and Taylor Tinsley working together. Every time they've pitched, they go over everything they've just done in that inning. And so Taylor Tinsley will be ready to come out into this circle.
Pitching change for UCLA. Back in a moment.
Good morning, everybody. We are here to discuss the
Making work make sense. LinkedIn knows how.
Those new tiles are falling right into place until you run out of
play. Even though Caitlin Terry had the bottom of the order coming up, they will make the move here with one on and nobody out to Taylor Tinsley.
I'm thinking this has to definitely be more about getting Taylor Tinsley into this game, into game one, and a plan probably ahead of the game, making sure that both of their pitchers, because to be honest, Caitlin Terry, yes, that was a hit, but she has not given up anything really hard. Looked really good through 4 innings.
So Tinsley will come on here, sophomore from Lawrenceville, Georgia. A member of the Pac-12 all-freshman team last year. Suffered an injury in late April, early May. That's when Terry really started to take over more of the innings. And now Tinsley able to bounce back in the postseason with what the coaching staff calls a dirty off-speed pitch, Smitty.
Wow, and it's the ability to really throw on that arm side of the plate, so she uses that rise ball, screwball, but yes, she does have a very good changeup that she likes to use right around 20% of the time.
1-0 the score, UCLA over Alabama here in the top of the 5th after a 1-hour weather delay to open up the tournament. We are back in business, and coming up next, the second of our quadruple header. The first-timers, the Duke Blue Devils, taking on the Oklahoma Sooners, who are seeking an 8th national championship and a 4th in a row. Doubleheader today and then a doubleheader tonight here at Devon Park in our double elimination format. Lauren Essman drops down the sacrifice. And the Tide have their first runner in scoring position of the day, and it's the pinch runner, Kinley Pate.
Now batting for the Cleveland
Tide have had their hits, but
second baseman, number 22.
2 of their 4 hits coming with 2 outs. Opportunity to lead off an inning with a base hit, with Dowling's base hit in this inning.
Callie Hevlin. Well, we knew coming in that Alabama, not known this year for their power, so their best chance would be some small ball, would be a sacrifice, would be some chaos on the bases, put some pressure on the defense.
And that's where Tinsley is so tough. So she comes in with that off-speed drop in the low 60s, and then that rise ball getting underneath your hands in the mid 60s. Look at that, 81%. left on base.
Whew. Only Nyjah Kennedy, the National Player of the Year, has a better number than that. As Caitlin Terry looks on, Caitlin, 4 innings of work, the 4 hits. Havlin, and over the head of Maya Brady. We're going to have a play at third, and now quickly pivoting and turning back to second was Pate. Did not get a good jump on that. Had to wait to see if Maya was going to make the catch.
She didn't actually wait at all. She ran back to second base. She sprinted back thinking that Maya Brady was going to catch this. You watch this, and it's a difficult play. Maya Brady looks like she's got a shot, but she runs back to second instead of getting further off. Even if Brady catches this ball, you can be 4 feet off the bag. She's not going to throw you out. So missed opportunity, at least advance the runner to third base. But how about a hit from the 9-hole, bringing up the top of the order in Kristen White.
3 singles from the 7, 8, 9 hitters. And here comes White. A pop-up and a ground out. Both corners pulled way in. And a chat here with Charlize Palacios. Kelly I, herself a former catcher, gives Charlize, look at this, a lot of credit for dealing with this young pitching staff.
Well, and take a look at, this is what we're talking about with Pate. When this ball drops over, she's at second base, and when it hits the ground, take a look right here. That hits the ground, but her back is to the ball, and that's where she needs to be open to the ball, seeing it hit the ground, so then she can react and go. When your back is to the ball controls the game. You can't make decisions.
Ball 3-0. Three balls, no strikes. Tinsley will use her timeout. The pitcher and the batter get 1 each per at-bat. And of course, new to softball this year is the pitch count. You got 20 seconds, and it looks like, again, they had an issue with their digital device or need a new card for Tinsley, the new pitcher this inning.
We've all said it a time or two, technology.
There once was a time, boys and girls, where the pitcher and catcher actually called their own games.
Yep.
Ball 4, and the bases are loaded for Bama.
Kind of think about this pitching change that happened. You know, Caitlin Terry looking very dominant through 4 innings. Yes, gives a leadoff single. Taylor Tinsley coming out of the bullpen into this game with runners on base.
Do you consider going back to Terry? She can re-enter.
Yeah, and then you burn Tinsley.
Then Tinsley's done, and they really don't have a third arm to rely on.
No. I think things would have to fall apart with Tinsley in the circle for that to happen.
Our first big drama of this Women's College World Series, the numbers for the freshman who was lifted after the first hitter this inning. And now Tinsley, the sacrifice, a single, and a walk.
Making sure that she's staying warm because she knows there is the opportunity that she could re-enter the game. And I'm sure right now the defense is talking about 1 out, bases loaded, potential opportunity to try to get out of the inning with a double play. See how they position their middles, if they're pulled in and looking to go home or up the middle. It looks like they will keep their middles, Brady and Currow, in.
Now batting ninth, fielder number 18, Lawrence Johnson.
So the defensive replacement who had an error out in right field, talk about a shot at redemption. Here comes the freshman, Lauren Johnson. Lauren replaced the injured Larissa Pruitt, singled in the third. And whenever you you see Alabama with the bases loaded at the World Series, you immediately think of one of the greatest moments in history, Jazz Lunsford, the pinch hit grand slam for Alabama many moons ago. One of Patrick Murphy's big hunches at the World Series.
Wow. Now Tinsley really struggling to find the strike zone.
Off-speed drop out of the zone. 2 rise balls, non-competitive, out of the zone.
Johnson taken all the way.
Go right back there. Lauren Johnson signaling to the umpire. She thought it was up. It wasn't.
At the knees, full count. Dowling singled, Hevlin singled. White walk to load him up. Infield pop-up, taken by the second baseman, Curro. 2 down.
That's a big time 3 pitches from Taylor Tinsley. Going down 3-0, bases loaded. You could feel the crowd get loud. She threw 3 consecutive strikes. Now she's got her toughest, Kenley Cahalan, who's the best hitter in this lineup.
Struck out in the first, grounded out to short in the third, and the check swing foul on 1. 2 for 6 on the season with the bases loaded. Tied, a chance to tie it up or take the lead here in the top of the 5th.
Cahalan wants to swing the bat. She already had a check swing on the first. She was ready to trigger on a rise ball over her head. Her toes are on the line. She is crowding Taylor Tinsley right now.
She's been smoking it this postseason with runners in scoring position. Tinsley gets the swing and the miss. 1 and 2.
You can't throw her to strike. I mean, she is ready to swing at everything. You can tell she's amped up as a hitter. So for Taylor Tinsley, do not give her anything in the strike zone.
Went up and away, and Kenley got a piece.
Where's the changeup? Where's the changeup?
That Lunsford Granny, the only Alabama one in their 15 years at the World Series. Cahalan, base hit. Alabama ties it up. They're going for the lead. Throw at the plate, plenty of time. And the tag applied by Palacios on Hevlin. Aggressive on the bases, and that one at home wasn't even close. But we are even at 1 apiece. You'd need video evidence to show other offline, but UCLA was on the money, and they cut down that second run at the plate. But
Just been dominating in the circle with that pitch down in the dirt. So that drop ball, outer half with the curve, just great late sharp movement. One of her best chase and whiff pitches. Look at the rotation on this pitch, the way she's really going to pull that, bend that, especially from her arm side of the pitching rubber. She's going to throw that pitch away from the righties into the lefties. Majority of her outs are going to be on the ground, rolling a lot of those ground balls for her defense behind her.
Just a $198 against that curveball. Both lefties and righties. She does a good job throwing it to both sides of the plate.
Well, and the 9 ground out's a big deal because Patrick Murphy, he said job number 1 was to keep it in the park against this big hitting Bruin lineup, and so far she's been able to keep it low.
Well, and she only has given up 7 home runs on the year, and in today's game, that's pretty good at keeping it in the park. But she also uses her angles very well. She really gets to that arm side of the pitching rubber to give herself the ability. Look at how far she is off to that right side of the pitching rubber, so she'll use that angle to help that curveball move even more. She'll shoot that arm side inside pitch to righties. She loves to throw on the inner half, as we've talked about.
get in their kitchen.
The one downside of that, though, she does have the 20 hit batters on the year.
Well, and she's another positive portal story. You know, we hear a lot of negative stuff about it. There are some issues we still need to figure out, but so many of these student athletes get a second chance, get an opportunity to move up and challenge themselves against tougher competition. Certainly the programs here like Oklahoma State and Oklahoma and Alabama and UCLA, those are the 4 teams out of the 8 that have the most transfers that are here at the World Series, and most of them pretty darn effective.
Well, and you look at Florida as well, Corbiotis and Jocelyn Erickson.
Slow roller to Cahill, and it's short. Curro is retired, 1 down. Bottom of the order here for UCLA.
Now batting third baseman, number 24.
That would appear to be the 2 seed. The 3-time defending champion Oklahoma Sooners arriving just outside the center field fence. They are coming up next against the Duke Blue Devils. Oklahoma beat Duke opening weekend of the season, and now they meet again. A little more at stake. Duke has never been here before. What a moment for the Blue Devils, and they have to face the dynasty to try and pick up that first win. Another ground out, 2 down. What you got for us, Holly?
Well, you talked a little bit about Kayla Beaver overcoming injury this year, but it was severe. She completely ruptured her UCL in her thumb on her glove hand. She got surgery on March 19th and had to have a full reconstruction Tuesday, and then pitched in a shutout on Friday. She's been pretty sore throughout the rest of the year. In fact, Patrick Murphy will always tell the home plate umpire, don't throw back to her so hard. Let the catcher do it. Softly.
Yes. Well, tossed it underhand for actually a couple weeks. She did that, had that injury against Florida State.
Do what you got to do for your teammates, right?
Yeah.
And to get back out there, she's retired now 6 in a row after the back-to-back hits in the third when UCLA picked up its run on the Jadlyn Alchin RBI single. One and one the count to Mioño, who's got the lowest whiff rate on the team. She only had 21 swings and misses all year leading into the World Series, and then had one on her first pitch of this at-bat. Chopped to second. Hedlund, nice charge in the scoop. That's the third 1-2-3 inning for Kayla Beaver, one apiece.
Phone call from the boss? Sorry. Outdoor
College World Series delayed a bit by some rain, but it's 1-1. Alabama taking on UCLA. Pam Ward, Maddie Shipman, Danielle Laurie will be here all week and into next week. UCLA, not a lot of offense so far.
In these pitchers' duels, you don't get a ton of opportunities to score a run, but UCLA capitalized back-to-back hits after the hit by pitch to Janelle Mioño and Maya Brady. I could watch that swing on the 1-0 changeup all day long.
Listen, I didn't know how Kayla Beaver was going to come out here. This is her first Women's College World Series. Like, it's impressive to see. She's only given up 2 hits to this UCLA team that has cruised through the postseason. That's sticking out to me.
All right, we will be here after the game. We're going to set up Oklahoma and Duke as we send it back up to them.
Thank you very much, ladies. Look forward to their commentary throughout this Women's College World Series. Jenna Johnson here, 4, 5, and 6 for the Tide. Kayla Beaver, by the way, not showing any signs of being nervous or being a wallflower. She's been in charge of all of their pick-me-up decorations that they have in the dugout throughout this postseason. They had a lot of time to think as Johnson pops it up left side, 1 down. A lot of time to think after an early exit from the SEC tournament. A couple weeks waiting to see if they would be hosting, waiting to see who they would play. And so they did a little shopping. And all kinds of good stuff in that dugout to help pull them through to remind them to have fun again. Look at even that's got a credential. You got to have a credential down there in the dugout. It's Riley's credential.
Hope she can get in. Digging the shells, glasses.
Palm tree, the guitar. Got to have the electric.
Got to. Little air guitar. We use a bat up here for air guitar in the booth.
By we, Beth means she does.
We are getting down to crunch time here in our opener on opening day, the first of 4 games. Double elimination format. Oh, and that got Giles on the arm. Hit batter. The Crimson Tide have had base runners in every inning today. Got one home in the 5th.
Definitely gets her hand. Kelly's, I think, asking for help to make sure if anyone else saw it. I don't know if she's going to want to use a challenge for this.
That is the go-ahead run now on first base for Alabama. Blue Devils are here. Duke getting ready to go next in their first Women's College World Series. They have 7 steps they went through to get here. It's the 7th year of the program. They beat the 7 seed in the Supers. Is it Lucky Sevens into their showdown with Oklahoma coming up later this afternoon.
Fun team to watch. They have speed, they have power, great pitching staff.
Personality.
Yeah.
They were fun to talk to yesterday. I mean, all the players are, but they came in and, I mean, they are excited to be here. First time for the program. Such a new program. Beth, you mentioned just the 7th year they're at the big show.
Head coach Marissa Young, one of 5 head coaches here with their teams that played in the Men's or Women's World Series in their playing days. And of course, if you want to watch a little history, Marissa will be the first black head coach to bring her team to the Women's College World Series. It's one of the things that the Duke Sports Information Department was able to find. And the continued growth of the game, the numbers still very low in terms of participation and coaching in Division I levels. But that has really been something that has been listed as a big room for improvement, and we're starting to see it now both in the dugout and on the field. There is a wild pitch.
And this is that off-speed pitch. It tends to show up at about 40 feet. Tough pitch for Palacios to try to keep in front of her.
Runner in scoring position for Valentine. The 1-2 pitch. Fly ball to center. Miono's got it. Giles will have to stay put. 2 down.
Now batting third baseman number 7, Bailey Dowling.
Bailey Dowling is 2 for 2 today. And it was her pinch runner, Kinley Pate, who scored the Bama run last inning. And the senior from St. Joseph, Illinois. Big moment here, trying to get Bama the lead.
Challenge her a little bit differently. That curveball in the outer half from the right-handed Tinsley. Both of her hits off of KT. Starter. The lefty.
Tinsley in front 0-2. And that's Palacios calling the timeout. Just a fabulous catcher, a second-team All-American. has now played in the World Series with both Arizona and UCLA. And enjoying a career year in her final campaign. 5 of Alabama's hits today have come with 2 strikes. Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Tinsley. Ends the threat. We head to the bottom of the 6th. The Bruin Bashers are getting...
We were made for this moment. We were made for it. Light it up, 'cause we own it. 'Cause we own it. Never stop going for it. Never stop. We were made for this moment. We were made for it.
Devon Park at the Women's College World Series opening day here in Oklahoma City, the first of our 4 games. And we've got drama right out of the gate. UCLA coming around for the 3rd time, and look at the batting average and the slug when they see a pitcher this often. And it's the top of the order with Maya Brady to face Kayla Beaver, who has kept it low, kept it slow. 11 ground outs off of Bruin bats today. When we asked her teammates at UCLA to tell us about Maya Brady, they said, you know what, we're just lucky to live in the Maya Brady era. And when you list all of the good things she does for this team, they just check all of the above.
Well, that's going to be her key in this moment, in this at-bat, is patience. That's something that Kayla Beaver learned her last at-bat. You throw anything over the plate, she's going to hit it, and she's going to hit it hard.
They get a run on the board. They are 3 outs away from an opening day win. In her career at UCLA, 2nd in all of those categories. Deep in the hole, Cahalan's got to hurry, not in time. Brady legs it out, and the go-ahead run aboard to lead off the inning for UCLA.
This is the beauty of being on the left side of the plate. Maya Brady just being able to run this out almost like old school slapper style. I mean, 5-6 hole. Once she gets it by, Bailey Dowling at third base is a base hit. No way you're throwing out Maya Brady from the left side. Get down the line, no chance.
7th infield single of the season for Maya. Jadlyn Alchin drops it down. Beaver will record the out at first, 1 away.
Now, the only problem with the sacrifice bunt in this situation is you got Palacios up to bat, and Megan Grant, who is on deck, has struggled. Now you're putting first base open. If I'm Bama, I don't give Palacios anything to hit.
No, I'm making her chase something out of the zone. Otherwise, first base is open. Put her on.
11 home runs in her last 18 games, 5 in the 5 games of the NCAA tournament. She is 3 shy of slamming Sammy Camuso's record at UCLA in NCAA tournament play. And that's exactly the conversation that Lance McMahon, well, he may not be given the statistics, but
So this
what
is
you
how
guys
good
said,
she
what
is.
you guys said, yes.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, this is where the strategy comes in. This is where you're saying, look, you're going to pitch to her, throw her a curveball, but make sure it's 6 inches off the plate. Rise ball up at the eyes, see if she'll chase it upstairs. And if she doesn't, let her have first. Make somebody else pick up that bat and beat you.
The reminder, of course, even though we're just at the start a loss on Thursday can be lethal. If you lose your opening day game, you only have a 6% chance of reaching the championship series. And only 4 teams in 4 decades have lost their opener and won the championship. And they're going to go ahead and put her on. Oh, that was a little close.
Kayla Beaver strikes me as the pitcher that does not agree to this easily. So she's probably like, maybe I could sneak in a strike. She would, if she had her choice, she would go after Palacios, but that is not the decision for your team when Palacios is swinging the bat as hot as she's been.
Only the second free pass, unintentional walk, and a hit batter. So the moment belongs to Megan Grant, the sophomore, who they lovingly call Chef, because she's not only a foodie, but she can cook in the batter's box as well. Oh for 2 today. Palacios going to be lifted here for a pinch runner. Lauren Hatch. So the go-ahead run at second, some insurance at first here in the bottom of the 6th. And look at Palacios again, the leadership with the younger players. Some words of advice.
So good. That is so good. It's Megan Grant. Even though she's a sophomore, she's a freshman on this stage. This is a big moment for her.
These youngsters, of course, were not here a year ago after that stunning early exit from the tournament. Wind has really picked up. It is blowing out to left field. Can hear it on our microphones around the stadium. In for a strike, 0-2.
Beaver wastes no time. I mean, in pressure situation, she hammers that strike zone. Needs to be careful now ahead with those 2 strikes. If you're Grant, you got to be stingy. Anything in the zone, you have to protect.
Jammed her, popped up, and onto the screen behind the plate. Look for a moment like Giles. She still
doesn't know where the ball is. Yeah.
There it is.
Somebody tell me.
I thought I had a shot at that one.
Is it still coming down? Is it going to hit me?
0-2 from Beaver. Got her at the letters. Strikeout number 4, 2 down.
Kayla Beaver's like, I don't need to waste pitches. She's like, 0-2, I'm going right at you. Rise ball in the outer half. This is a huge out, a big get. Rise ball in the outer half, really painting that top part of the strike zone. And Giles, a good job of really sticking that, giving the umpire a clean look.
From one sophomore to another, here's Jordan Woolery. All Pac-12 team member this year. Beaver struck her out with a curveball back in the 4th. Boy, she continues to battle early in counts.
You can tell by her pace. I mean, just the way that when she gets on the rubber, she is ready to go. Right now, mentally, she's telling herself what she needs, but she gets on the rubber and she wants to come at you.
Woolery, deep fly ball. Johnson tracking back. It goes, and it is gone. Jordan Woolery, 3-run home run for UCLA to take the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Her 10th of the season and her 2nd of the postseason. 4-1 Bruins.
You talk about being ready for a pitch. Look at this up and in. Jordan Woolery, beautiful job. You see her hands stay close to her body. Watch them tuck in because this pitch is coming in. And Woolery meets this pitch. When you get up and in and you can meet it, it's got nowhere to go but out of the park. Her 10th for the sophomore. The biggest of the season.
On the board, and now are 3 outs away from an opening day win.
I'm a clothes rack. Did the clothes rack get more expensive?
Spend, save, and plan smarter with Erica from Bank of America.
The NCAA Women's College World Series is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Disney's Young Woman and the Sea in select theaters Friday.
The home run for Jordan Woolery, and then the ball presentation to the family. Ma getting it. A 3-run shot has the Bruins in front late, 4-1. As she breaks the tie, and now the Bruins 3 outs away from advancing and staying in the winner's bracket. They would have the day off tomorrow, play Saturday afternoon. As it stands right now for Alabama, they would fall into the loser's bracket and have to come back tomorrow night for an elimination game. Lauren Essman will try and start the rally for the Tide. 8-9 and then the top. They've relied on their grit all year long. They'll try and turn to that here. Essman, fly ball in foul territory. And it's caught up against the wall. Jablin Alchin. Little left field love for you, Mendoza.
Well, you know, when the great players, the great stage, they're going to show up. How about her finding the wall? This is what impresses me the most. Yes, she jumps. It's athletic. It's her knowledge. She knows exactly where this wall is in foul territory. She hasn't played here. She got out there before the game and understood how many steps and exactly how to. You always see outfielders pull up when that wall's looming. I love seeing that knowledge without having to look, because you've counted them, you know.
Grad student from Huntington Beach. Played here last year with Washington, now finishing up her studies at UCLA, enjoying her best season. Here's Callie Hevlin, 0-2. Out in front, 2 down.
Tinsley continuing to use that really good off-speed. Look the way she turns her hand over, that tight rotation on the ball, one of the best changeups in the game.
Kristen White is the last chance here for Alabama. Walked her last time up. Sophomore out of Phoenix City, Alabama. The tag team effort today in the circle. Caitlin Terry, 4 innings. Taylor Tinsley trying to finish up the last 3. Race one in the dirt. Winner of this one will face the winner of Oklahoma Duke on Saturday. That matchup is coming up next. The loser of this game will face the loser of that one tomorrow night. Shallow center coming out. down to make the catch is Meonio, and UCLA wins the opener over Alabama 4-1 on the Jordan Rory 3-run home run in the bottom of the 6th inning.
Great effort all the way around for UCLA. A very young team, a very inexperienced team when it comes to the Women's College World Series. Stepping on that field like they've been here before. Pretty impressive.
Let's take a look at our Capital One rewarding performance, and it was the one swing of the bat that determined this one.
You know, I love it too because the adjustment, she had struck out the at-bat before. She hunts a pitch in. I can't get enough of the swing. The beautiful part of getting to that inside